yeah, I should win just because you had the Timberwolves in the 8th seed.
Vasilevsky's been playing really well, and the Lightning have a great offense.
Yeah, it was a tremendous shot, and I've come to expect it from LeBron. I would say I wish the best for the Red Sox, but as a Yankees fan, that's really hard for me to do.
The biggest addition to me is Jalen Brunson.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers, and that's all I have to say. He's still a top 5 quarterback in this league, and there's nothing really anyone can do about it.
Why'd you have to name him? Like, seriously? Like, thanks, man.
Who would have thought 5 years ago that the Clippers and Nets would be facing in the finals?
How is Joe Burrow going to get the ball to them if his butt is already on the ground?
Crazy. And for the fans at home,
Hello, I'm Cy Mendenhall, and you're listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our NFL Opinions of the Week. This does talk a little bit about the Olympics, given that the Olympics have ended and people are looking forward to it. Because the addition, I would say a big addition, is since it is in LA, the Olympics will now have flag football, and it's just America's sport, really. They've tried diversifying it as such a great moneymaker, but the problem with that, I think you can compare it to the NBA, is will great players want to be in the Olympics? We've seen this in the past, a long time ago, but that's, of course, what we're dealing with now. But the man that has his own thoughts on if great players will play in the Olympics.
Yeah, so this is actually different than the NFL, and the U.S. actually does not dominate this sport. The last time that they played, I believe that I think Japan actually won last time they had a flag football championship that was in between nations. It's different. It's a different sport. I remember watching them a couple years ago. I remember watching an Italy versus U.S. game and some of those other ones. Now, they aren't our best players. They aren't NFL players. But now that it's moving on to the Olympics, there is an incentive to play in those big games for your country, to try to win a gold, try to win a medal. It's always been hard for an NFL player to do that outside of maybe track. There's been some track stars that have played in the NFL, but this is totally different. This is a chance to play a sport that is very similar to the one that they play for a living. So I could definitely see them making the move over.
So I think they do well playing it. Great players. My concern is I don't think players will play. I don't think a franchise player, a Mahomes, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, CeeDee Lamb, and even Marvin Harrison Jr., those guys, if Marvin Harrison Jr. reaches potential, because it is 4 years out, I don't see guys playing like that. I think it's more going to be college athletes and young guys. So if it was starting this year,
how do you feel about Micah Parsons saying that he declares he will take a break from football after 2027 to prep for the 2028 Olympics?
Oh, really? He said that?
Yes, at least that's what Fox reported today.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, I see. It's that. That is something where I think we'll have to see if it actually happens. But I don't see players doing that. Just
Say
because I don't see players doing that. I don't see top guys or teams.
Is
even
Micah
letting
not a
guys.
top guy?
Yeah, Micah is a top guy. So I don't think that will come.
According to this article as well, NFL stars Patrick Mahomes, Kyle Juszczyk, and Joe Burrow have expressed interest in competing in the Olympics.
Interest. I think you can say interest, but I think once it comes to it, I think guys may be like, no. And just because it is close to the NFL season, a lot of stuff is happening. And I'm curious now with those guys talking about it, and if they're very serious about it, and they are going to take a break, because Micah not taking a break from football would hurt the NFL product. So do we see the NFL make changes? I think it would.
I don't think it would, because if you waited and played in the flag football, then you'd have more international interest. American football is extremely popular in the U.S., the most popular sport, but it's not a worldwide sport like a lot of the other popular sports for other nations. If he did take a break in 2027 for 2028 flag football, and the U.S. won and it became a really popular sport, it would actually increase the influx of capital that the NFL would receive the next season.
I understand what you're saying. My concern is what the NFL would do. Let's say Parsons, Burrow, Mahomes are not playing an NFL season. To me, that's going to hurt that year for the NFL product because how are you going to? Those are your top stars, and that is what.
Well, I think
makes
Mike is the only. I don't think a quarterback would be the one to take a break. I think it would have to be like a D lineman or a running back or some position that you're taking a lot of wear and tear and are worried about getting injured. Throwing a ball is throwing a ball, especially in the flag football. You're not going to get hit, so you have even less incentive to take a break because you can just run around and throw the ball. Worst happens is your flag gets taken. So it's not really a big concern injury wise for those types of players, and it will increase the. Making it a global game will increase the pool of players that want to play in the NFL and in the future make the sport better.
Yes, that's something I'm excited for, just to see where the NBA is now. Of just the 4 out of the top 5 players are all not from the U.S. They've played overseas, and that is something to where I do think it will grow the game, but it'll be something years from now, such as because the Dream Team was the Dream Team the first year they brought in basketball into the Olympics? No,
it's the first year they had professionals in the Olympics.
Yes, got it. So, and then you have the Redeem Team. I'm not quite sure what the team before the Redeem Team was called. If
it's not necessarily. It's just the team that lost.
The team that lost.
They don't have a name for it because they lost.
And then, so I think that will happen years from now in the flag football. And I'm very excited to see with overseas guys. I'm not sure if Jordan Mailata, the left tackle, counts as an overseas player.
I mean, if you're not from the U.S., you're definitely an overseas player.
Because he was Australian. He was drafted, hadn't really played much football, but he was from rugby.
Yeah, he's definitely an overseas player.
So that's something where we could see more players like that, given if it increased popularity. But I just don't see great players doing it. I think they'll be like, no, I'm going to take this year off. I'm going to focus on the NFL season. Well, I'm very curious to see if Parsons actually does take a year off. But if he's on the same trajectory that he is now in 2028 and when the Olympics come up, I think the NFL would have to think about it because that's a star. I would say he's a star given he plays for the Cowboys. So the Cowboys elevate him, but also his talent elevates him to be a star. And that's a way to market their games. And that would hurt the NFL season.
I don't see how I don't see there's a single way for the NFL to actually intervene. It's not during the season. It's not like NHL. NHL, the reason why they can intervene is we're going to keep playing games. So you can be here or not, we're going to keep playing games. NFL has there's no such thing, right? The Summer Olympics just ended yesterday as we're recording. There's preseason, but they already don't play in preseason. I don't see how the argument is you're not going to get paid. Okay, I already am going to sit out the preseason. Don't pay me for the preseason. Sounds good to me. That just sounds like, I don't know, that this is my preseason, coach. So I don't know what they could hold over them.
That's something we'll have to see. But if he's going to take a year off, he's going to miss the 2027.
That's his choice. He doesn't have to play. Okay, don't pay me for the year because I'm sitting out. That's his choice.
NFL, to me,
the NFL can't do anything about it. If he says, I will not play, what is the NFL going to do? Okay, we won't pay you. Okay, don't pay me.
I feel like the NFL is gonna do something.
What can they do is what I'm asking.
I don't know, but I'm sure they're gonna try to do something because they don't want to have a year of not having guys. What happens if Fred Warner also or Nick Bosa and a bunch of defensive players are like, I'm not gonna take this year off? That's gonna hurt the NFL product. Season.
But I don't think you understand. There's nothing for them to do. If they say there's been great all-time players that decide that they don't want to play in a certain league. I can think of a couple hockey guys that just decided to stay in either Russia or one of their home countries. I can think of some MLB guys that just decide to stay in Japan. Not because they're not good enough. They just don't want to come to the U.S. So if the decision is, I don't want to play in the NFL, I find it very hard to believe that they're going to be like, no, you have to.
I would say if a player that is already playing and intends to return, I'm confident the NFL would try to do something to force them to play. That's
like what?
I think they would bring up money. They could bring up suspensions. They would do something to force the player, hey, you're playing.
Do you not understand how bad of a look that would be?
Well, I know it would be bad, but I think from the NFL marketing standpoint,
it would be worse for the marketing, though.
I think they would be like,
well, what happens in an argument when the guy says, I want to play in the Olympics, and he says, okay, when you come back, you're suspended for a season or something, and he says, I'm suing you and taking you to court. What happens in that case?
It's not going to look well for the NFL, but they've had cases where it does not look for him as well. You can look at the Tom Brady case with the suspension for Deflategate.
Okay, but that's one player. Like, if it's Mahomes and all these other, like, are you going to suspend Burrow and Mahomes? Like, is that what we're doing? Is that what we're doing? We're suspending the two best quarterbacks in the NFL because they want to play for their country.
That's the question. That's
not going to happen.
I personally wouldn't do it, but I can see the NFL doing that.
I can't.
Okay. I also don't see the players really. I think some guys will be like, no, I'm going to let these other guys have it.
Some guys will, but other elite MVP caliber, defensive player of the year caliber guys will be in the Olympics.
Okay. I'm going to say no elite guys. I think.
Even though Micah literally just said that he wants to.
Micah says whatever he wants.
What about the other guys I mentioned?
Joe Burrow, Mahomes. We'll see, but it's 4 years out. Let's see what they say at the time of it. Because you can say whatever you want. Didn't Kirk Cousins once said, hey, I'm going to be a Viking for life? Once it came to it, was not a Viking for life.
That's because of the Vikings, though. That's not because
he also said, to me, players say stuff, and it's great.
It's not the same. That's not a fair example, though, because the Vikings wanted to pay him half of what the Falcons were offering. If the Falcons are like, we're going to pay you exactly what you want, and the Vikings were like, we'll give you much, much less than that, that's disrespectful. I'm going to just go. If the difference was the same amount of money, just a different team, that would be a good example. But it's when the difference of money is $20 million guaranteed, $40 million guaranteed. I don't think that's a fair example. I don't think it's smart to take a deal where you're guaranteed $40 million less. That's a lot of money to be guaranteed less.
Well, I understand, but to me, players say whatever. We'll see when it comes down to it. And to me, I don't see a lot of players following through.
I disagree.
Okay. But either way, I think it's going to be exciting what flag football offers, and I think it'll be entertaining. So, and a lot of players will be used to it given the Pro Bowl.
Only if they're in the NFL and make the Pro Bowl. So you're already so do you think they're going to or no?
Well, no, I don't think they're going to.
Then they won't have experience because of the Pro Bowl because they're not elite. Only most
Mitchell
players
Trubisky made the Pro Bowl.
One, he still didn't play in the Pro Bowl when they had a flag football, and two, that was for one season, and also he's basically out of the league now. So
but I'm saying, not elite players make the Pro Bowl. That's our problem with the Pro Bowl.
I would say that 85% of the players who make the Pro Bowl are elite. Is that fair? I do think there's very bad selections.
Yeah, there's very bad.
But I'd say 85, at least 80% are good.
Yeah.
Are elite.
Yeah. But there are incredible.
And I'm saying some of those 80% guys will make it to the Pro Bowl, or not the Olympics.
Yeah, I don't believe so. That's all we got. Let us know your thoughts, and we'll see when it comes down to it in 4 years. And let us know your thoughts in the comments. And thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.